This is a 1991 Honda Beat. It's for the Japanese market, so it's JDM AF. This car looks pretty fun. However, it's a 3-cylinder, 0.6, that's 0.6 liter, 64 horsepower, 44 foot-pounds of torque. It has 13-inch wheels. It is right-hand drive. And it has zebra print. The passenger seat has a seat cover on it. When this was received, the driver's seat did as well. But we took that off. You can see the floor mats are all zebra print. The steering wheel has also been changed since it arrived. The other one is a little bit bigger for the larger person. That might make it a little bit harder to get in and out as well as drive it. One of the persons sat in it. His legs were right at the steering wheel. The stereo has a tape deck and VU meters and a CD changer. The only thing I found on this car that does not work is the scan and repeat buttons on the radio, so that's a bit unfortunate. But let's take a look at some of the key features of this Honda Beat. Feel free at any point to cue up your Go-Go's track. I cannot do it because of copyright. So let's start here at the front. We have a clamshell hood. What do we have under here? A spare tire, a jack, access to brakes, steering, wiper fluid, and that's pretty much it. You have absolutely no storage in the front, but we do have plenty of access to necessities, so you probably will not ever have to open this up, or very infrequently unless you're doing any kind of service. So from here we move on to the interior. As I mentioned, this has zebra print from the factory, which I think is pretty incredible. From a storage standpoint, you don't really have a whole lot. We have an ashtray, which you just don't find in cars anymore. We have our armrest. There is absolutely nothing under here. We do have CD storage. Those are for CD cases. For the younger viewers, that is a compact disc. It is an actual form of digital media. 5¼ inches wide, made of plastic, has one album on it, usually around 13 tracks or so. The top does fold up. I'm not going to right now, but it is a manual top, and it still looks pretty good with the top up. There's a lot of convertibles that don't do that. There is a cover to go over all of this that would snap in all here. I have not figured out how all that goes together or look into that yet. This car was picked up just a few days ago, and I have very little experience with it thus far. Also on the interior, regarding the stereo, something is optional. The Gathers system. It has VU meters. All this is a very digital display. For 1991, this is top of the line technical advancement. A lot of the cars in the US in 1991 did not have that fancy of a radio. It wasn't until the mid and late 90s that it got that fancy. We have door speakers, 6.5s in the doors, but we also have dash speakers. That is 2 3-inch mids and a tweeter on each side, providing much greater audio output, but also better sound staging. This could actually be used for competition sound quality if you can work out the speakers to put a better quality speaker, but still retain the factory positioning to fit into a stock class, which would be a bit of an advantage for you. There does not appear to be any rear speakers in this car, not that there is much room to do so. The seat positioning, I really need to drive it with it all the way back. I'm about 6 foot tall, so that's all you have there. But Interior's very basic, very simple. These little divots in the doors right here are actually where your arm will fit comfortably for a larger person like myself, and by larger I mean average American size. Remember, this is a Japanese car for Japanese people that are not American sized. This car, I believe, does have air conditioning. It has the button for it. That might be the one thing that doesn't work. I have not checked that, but why would you use it? Because you're in a convertible. Just put the top down. So we have a nice rounded front. Again, this is kind of the styling that we didn't really have so much in the US until later. These fenders are green. They are not supposed to be green. They're supposed to be body color. This car did come with replacement, or probably the original fenders in there. They were a little bit rusty on the very bottom. But overall, this car is very, very clean. Those are 13-inch wheels, and those are snow tires. This is now February. It was originally dropped off at the lot to purchase this, I believe, in October or November. And in Japan, apparently, they had winter tires on it then. So we move to the back. Bit of a boring styling, but trying to get kind of sporty down there. And the super sweet exhaust tip. This does have a motorcycle battery for this, and this is all the storage that you have. The CD changer, well, it's not connected, but it would go in here, something like that. This is all of the space that you have. 100% of the storage. You are looking at it. That is all that it has got. It's not much. The engine is down there, tucked away where you can't see it. You do have access to coolant on top and the overflow right there. And excuse the lighting, I didn't properly prepare for this. But that engine is down there. You can get to the dipstick right over there. It is mid-engine, so this technically is a mid-engine sports car. Let's take this car for a spin. So you gotta ask, what do you like and dislike about this car? I've had a little bit of driving time on it, and I will say the controls are a little bit different getting used to. It is a manual, but it's also right-hand drive, and I'm not used to shifting with my left hand. There's also the fine point of the column controls are backwards from most Hondas. Your wiper stock is on the left, your turn signals are on the right. So you have to get used to that. You just have to kind of be aware. I'm sure it might become second nature after you drive this for a while. But it is very different. It is definitely not fast. Sounds furious, not fast. 80 kilometers an hour, I'm already in 5th gear. A little over 4,000 RPM. Red line's at about 9,000. It's not really as uncomfortable as you might think. It is a very small car. It's only for the Japanese market. So it's made for not Americans, much smaller people. But it is pleasant. It's definitely an experience. It's the kind of thing that you could drive around on a city drive and be okay with it. I don't know how I'd feel about driving this on the interstate. Top speed, 103 miles an hour. It's only got 62 horsepower, 44 foot-pounds of torque. It's not going to be a real exciting experience. I feel it could get knocked around on the highway quite a bit. That obviously would not be desirable. the kind of car that you can have a lot of fun in without really going fast. It's pretty nimble. There is some body roll. You change the suspension a little bit, stiffen it up, change stance a little bit. Be a whole lot of fun. But the biggest thing is you have all the noises of you're going really, really fast, but you're not. Make some tire adjustments, wheel and tire adjustments, some suspension adjustments, and I think this could be a really good go around in some tight turns where you don't have to go fast, kind of fun, but it would still feel like you're maxing it out. So we are going to check 0 to, we'll see how this goes. 60 kilometers, 80 kilometers, 90 kilometers. That's not fast. So overall, what do I think about this car? I'd have one. I'm going to consider getting one. They'll set you back a few $1,000s, depending on the original purchase price, plus transit, getting over here, that kind of thing. You're probably going to end up spending anywhere between probably $3,000 and $4,000 in the end, unless you get a really good deal on one. This one is in very, very good shape. I do like to drive it. It's not fast. It's not the best handling thing. I think there's some room to make this a little bit better, but it's just a really cool little cruiser, super small. You can park it anywhere. It just makes a lot of sense for kind of a city car. Highway driving, I'd probably avoid it. Might tow it someplace to enjoy it on vacation, something that kind of thing. If you had RV, perfect. But this is a cool little car. Clean it up. You got some good styling you can do on this. I'd have one. I would recommend one. This is the 1991 Honda Beat.